So a few weeks ago, my friend Billy invited me for a visit to his home park, Six Flags Great America. I had always wanted to go there, and I wasn't disappointed. I was actually pretty impressed with the ride lineup and all the park had to offer. But I found a huge, easily preventable design flaw with the park. But let's start this video with some positivity. I added some new coasters to my personal track record, including Max Force. It was kind of short, but had few unique inversions and one of the most intense coaster launches I've ever experienced. Whizzer is a unique, classic family-sized steel coaster with rampy drops and a really pretty wooded setting. I really appreciated everything this ride had to offer. Viper is a fun woody with similar layout to the Coney Island Cyclone. It wasn't as intense as it looked, which isn't always a bad thing for me. This is one of those rides that contributed to that problem that I'm going to talk about soon. Moving along, Raging Bull is one of the first hypercoasters built by Swedish coaster designers B&M. Instead of an out and back layout like many other hypercoasters, it offers more of a twisted ride. Really, there's no other B&M coasters like it anywhere. American Eagle is a huge classic wooden racing coaster. Unfortunately, one side was closed and it didn't race when I was there, but it was a lot smoother than I expected. X-Flight is a B&M wing coaster with an interesting layout. I've heard a lot of people complain that because this ride is smaller than others like it, it wasn't as fun, but I really enjoyed it. We also rode a small kids wooden coaster called Little Dipper. I love those little wooden coasters. I wish I had one of these in my backyard. Goliath is an intense RMC hybrid coaster. A lot of people say that it's only half a roller coaster. Yes, it's too short, but really, it was awesome. Because we were only there for about half a day, I skipped the clones of coasters I've ridden before, like the Batman Inverted Coaster, the Batman-themed Mouse in a Box, and their Flash-themed Impulse Coaster. Also, I really wanted to ride Demon, a classic aero looper, but it was closed for my visit. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the design flaw that I mentioned earlier. If you've been to this park, you know that a lot of their coasters were designed with very long, narrow paths that go from the coaster's exit back to the main midway, sometimes through a gift shop. A lot of their coaster stations are really far away from the main areas of the park. Most of the older coasters don't have separate Flash Pass entrances, so you have to go up these long, narrow exits if you're using the Flash Pass. Also, people with a disability pass have to go up these exits too. There's just not enough room for traffic to pass each other, and it causes a traffic jam. What made me take notice of this problem? I saw a young girl in a wheelchair with her family pushing their way up Viper's exit. There was simply not enough room for them to pass. They were swimming against the current, if you will. And Viper is just one of many coasters at this park that has exits designed like this. I especially noticed that Whizzer, Raging Bull, and American Eagle were like this too. They need to widen the exit paths, or even better, design new entrance queues for these rides. Entrance queues that offer a separate entrance for their Flash Pass and disabled riders. Doing that would eliminate the problem. It really wouldn't even be that expensive. But that's not even the worst design flaw I noticed. Every ride at this park has a turnstile that allows only one person at a time to exit the station, which takes up valuable time. It's a huge commotion. Oncoming riders who are trying to get to the bins to put their loose articles are bumping into exiting riders who are being held up by the single turnstile. It keeps the station from emptying quickly. The ride operators just stand there, waiting for everyone to settle down so they can check restraints. It's a huge time waster that could easily be fixed by adding a gate that locks magnetically. Now don't get me wrong, the ride operators do the best they can with what the park gives them to work with. I found that most of the employees at the park were great. As a Cedar Fair pass holder, I am most familiar with Kings Island, Carowinds, and of course Cedar Point. At those parks, most of the coaster exits have one or two large, magnetically locked gates. The gates usually lead to a wide path that empties immediately into a gift shop or directly onto the midway. They design their stations right. They seem to understand that getting riders on and off the ride quickly shows the guests that the park values their time. And yes, there are exceptions. Some older coasters at the Cedar Fair parks do have the long, narrow path design. And yes, I know Kings Island's Beast is one exception to this. There are probably some more that I may be overlooking. It's been a long time since I've visited a Six Flags park, but I will admit that I was pretty impressed with this one. They had some really good coasters, some friendly employees, and I had a really good time. Anyway, that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this video, please help me out by watching another one of my videos on your screen now. You know you want to. Until next time.